officers that come here and make presentations tend to get promoted.
Oh, man.
Because I asked her, I said.
I'll see you.
All right, folks. It's a little after 7. Everything seems to be functioning right. Let's get started. Welcome, everybody. Glad to see, never sure how many people will be here, so always happy when we have a good turnout. Tonight, our program is be geared to the fall. There's nothing really, there's a lot of things going on in Midtown, but we haven't gotten to them yet, but we will. October's meeting is lining up to be a very interesting meeting. So first things first, I hope everybody got the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Okay, any discussion, any changes? Okay, can I get a hand vote to approve the minutes? Any opposed? Okay, approved unanimously, love it. All right, moving on.
Mary, before you start, can we interrupt?
Sure.
Lubin, I asked Lubin to do something for us.
Have an announcement here in the Midtown CAC. About 2 weeks ago, on September 7th, 2025, the Liberal Raleigh organization hosted an event at Matthew Brown's historic house called Lamar Hall. It's located in downtown Raleigh at 401 North Person Street. It's located 2 blocks north of the governor's mansion, so it's a pretty good neighborhood down there. Matthew is a historic preservationist. And y'all been out to a lot of city council meetings and stuff. He appears there regularly. At the Liberal Raleigh event, Liberal Raleigh's board member and former 7-term Raleigh City Council member Russ Stevenson, and you folks been around a while, know Russ Stevenson, announced Larry Helfont as the inaugural winner of Liberal Raleigh's Special Community Watchdog Award. Russ noted that Larry provides dedicated service to his extended neighborhood as the chair of the Midtown CAC and as an active Liberal Raleigh Advisory Committee member who tirelessly tracks growth and development issues citywide. That's become a pretty major issue around here. Russ Stevenson continued, Larry keeps a close relationship with councilors and city staff. He demonstrating a detailed understanding of the issues along with the patience and respect for diverse opinions. Larry's commitment to community service is an inspiration to us all. However, it's noted that Larry had to miss the Liberal Raleigh event as he was attending his wife's, Susan's, birthday event and has yet to personally receive Liberal Raleigh Special Community Watchdog Award document. You see, the man's a smart guy. He knows where to put his priorities.
Yeah, I was thrilled, surprised, thrilled. It was nice.
I add that Larry is our Midtown CAC chair, in addition to leading our Midtown CAC meetings and preparing meeting minutes. All that takes a lot of time to work. He also regularly has conversations with our mayor and city council members. In other words, he has numerous, either little small group or individual conversations with our mayor to let her know what we think, and the other city council members too, particularly our councilors from out here, but they all have a vote. Coordinates with various city staff members on important issues and regulations. Coordinates with various City of Raleigh committees. Lots of those. Serves as a member of the Raleigh CAC board, providing leadership and coordination with the other CACs. So we've got our CAC, and one time there were 18 across the town. Now there's what, in the 10, 12 range somewhere, 10 or 11.
Getting there, we have 9 actually.
Okay. A couple of them are working real hard on that, get reorganized. And it's also noted for his comments in the media. He doesn't get in there as often as we like or as often as we provide comments to him, but he gets in there. We know where he stands. Now we let's see. Actually, I have the document here. It has finally arrived. We got this in just the last couple of days. There is the document. Pretty nice looking. And I will present that to you there, so you can see it all.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Ruben,
Oh, nice.
nice. Let's get a picture.
Okay,
Yes.
you want to step out here, Larry?
Yeah,
Show your legs off.
not wearing my Sunday best today, but sure.
Yep.
Oh, you have an NC State t-shirt on, that's all you need.
All right, look this
Wait,
way,
put that here.
fellas.
There we go.
Nice.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, now we'd like to make our additional thanks to Larry L. Funk for his service to the Midtown Citizen Advisory Council, his service to his community and the citizens of Raleigh. Midtown would like to make a couple of gestures of appreciation to Larry. Our outstanding Midtown CAC Secretary, Kathleen Cody, who helped bring all this together, will make presentations and comments to Larry.
Larry, we have a couple of things for you. This is actually from Livable Raleigh. So Larry can explain more about it, but apparently he and Russ Stevenson had a long conversation about Luxardo cherries. And so Livable Raleigh sent over some Luxardo cherries. I don't know if you want to add anything about
If
cherries.
you haven't tried these, go ahead and do it. Readily available, great in drinks, particularly old fashioned, which is my favorite. Yeah, see, some of us know it well.
And
Thank you
because
very much.
because our budget is very small, we were only able to come up with a $5 scratch off for We hope it wins.
Yeah, I will do this later.
Anyway,
Thank you,
thank you for
Kathleen.
everything. He
Appreciate
does
it.
everything, it does everything.
My only regret was I wish they had coordinated their schedule with my schedule. I feel really bad missing you, man. And my wife was ready to compromise, but I knew I'd pay for that later. I shouldn't say that on the recording. All right, now I'm so flustered here. Where are we?
We are at Sergeant
Yes.
Stanton.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for having me and congratulations. This is
Thank
my first time officially meeting you, but I feel like I'm privileged to meet you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. It's my first time being at the Midtown CAC, but I want to introduce myself to you all. My name is Aaron Hinton. I've been with the police department for 19 years. I'm a Raleigh boy. Went to Millbrook High School. Went to East Carolina. Don't hold it against me. I heard some Wolfpack fans in here. But graduated from there in 06 and started with the police department not long after that. So grew up going to Millbrook Baptist Church, which is right down the road from you guys. So being from Raleigh, I know it's changed a lot and it's still changing and it's going to keep changing. But as the changes have gone, we've kind of seen a lot of people coming in and growing, and it's a lot different from what it used to be. But I used to work in the Northeast District Community Squad. They recently revamped that, so we're North Side Community. So I'm working with Sergeant Garcia. He's my direct supervisor. Myself and Officer Martin, and we're getting Officer Huff also. So we're gonna have three kind of covering the whole north side. So it's northwest, north, and northeast. So we run from the airport all the way over to Newbert Avenue. So we're covering a lot of ground, but we're trying to make sure we get to everybody and talk to everybody. So it's an honor and pleasure to be here with you all tonight. Thank you for having me. As I'm filling in for Sergeant Garcia, I did not get the crime numbers from Sergeant Garcia, but I will go over a few things, some general information. One thing we have coming up is National Coffee with a Cop Day. That's going to be on October 1st, Wednesday, October 1st. And there's several locations on the north side We're gonna be at the Chick-fil-A Broad Creek Parkway from 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. in the Northwest District. Crabtree Valley Mall from 12:30 to 2 p.m. Smooth Joe Coffee, which is over there at the 5401 North, just north of 540 off of Lewisburg. That's from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Dunkin' Donuts, 13,600 New Falls and News Road from 8:30 to 9:30. And then also the McDonald's on Capitol Boulevard from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. And that's 3026 Capitol Boulevard. So if you get a chance, or if you're available, there's some sheets back there that has every location listed on there. If you're interested in attending any of those, you're welcome to those. Also have some keychains and magnets back there. I wanted to bring you guys something, since I didn't have numbers for you, unfortunately. I apologize for that. But being in Raleigh, and I know we're working on a lot in the area, so I know you've probably seen us working on the speeding out there on Millbrook Road. That's something we're always kind of addressing. Of course, a lot of our streets now, unfortunately, the speed racers running up and down them. So just keep an eye out. If you have an issue with a particular street, you can reach out to us at the North District. You can call the North District, speak to the desk officers. Phone numbers are actually on those magnets back there. So if you have an issue, they can get that over to us so we can get the speed signs put up. I don't know if you've ever seen the digital speed signs, but we can put those up out there and get numbers so we can get a speed report, speed survey done. And then we'll address it and have officers come out there and make sure we're trying to slow folks down a little bit. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that option. If you're seeing that, definitely reach out and let us know, because we can put those up, and it gets us we usually run for about 2 weeks, gives us a good report. So just keep that in mind. Does anybody else have a question for me or anything? Yes, sir.
What are the noise levels that we're supposed to be hearing from cars?
Noise levels should be at a minimum. Like, I know we've had what I call them, the Fast and Furious, the car clubs that meet up.
Sunday was pretty
They use-
serious going up.
Yeah. So they probably had a meeting somewhere. A lot of times we have our intelligence center over there, the detective division, and they're tapped into some of these groups trying to gather information to give us a heads up when they're meeting somewhere. So a lot of times we do a pretty good job of knowing where they're gonna be, and we'll saturate that area. There was one a couple weeks ago over there off of Calvary and Capitol, and I know they saturated that, and those folks were out of there pretty much before it started. Once they started coming in, they were getting stopped for a lot of their muffler noise violations. So our guys, that's big with our guys right now. Our traffic unit, everybody's trying to hit those with our main thoroughfares. It's kind of something that's across the board, not just unique to us. But if you happen to be out there and you see a club meeting or something, if you see 4 or 5 cars kind of going in the shopping center area, if you want to call and say, hey, they're meeting over here, just something to keep an eye on, you can do that. Most of the time we're already aware, but just to be better to be safe than sorry. But yeah, I don't know the exact amount of feet away you're supposed to be, but a lot of times you'll know it, and we all know it once we hear it and they go by, and you hear it. Bust your ears as they go by and blow your doors off. But, yes, sir.
What are the city regulations on that? Is it decibel rating or
So
type of mufflers or what?
a lot of times it's an altered muffler, so it's not factory issue, dealer issue. If they're altered, we all know, right? For the most part, if my truck is, they just gave me a police truck. But if that's out there and I go by you, you're not gonna really turn an eye, but if these guys go by, you know, and a lot of times, sometimes I'll be over here and you can hear them all the way over there on Falls of News. So people like that, those are the ones we're really looking for, so.
Do they catch those at city inspections?
So they're supposed to,
Yeah.
it just depends on the inspectors. So we all know how that works, but, it's definitely something we're on the lookout for as priority for our guys now, so. Anytime we're out there, especially Friday, Saturday nights, a lot of times these people are coming in from out of town. And, so we try to address it as best we can, we just.
That's the same question I wanted to follow up on, because you're right, it's a problem everywhere, particularly in the neighborhoods. Can you request a patrol car at a specific location to just sit there for a while to pick them up?
You can.
There are a couple around here that are known.
Yeah, if you have a known address with somebody with a muffler like that, you can let us know. And we'll try to go talk to, I mean, I've gone to people's houses, knocked on our door, and like, hey, we've gotten several complaints about your vehicle and your driveway. I'm trying to do you the courtesy of, you need to get that address before you get a ticket, because it's coming.
Yeah.
So it's something that can be, our guys are super, super busy. We just had an academy graduate this past Friday. So we got some young ones out there training now. But we're still hiring, so if anybody's interested, let me know. We'll get you signed up. We need all the help we can get, but, it's definitely something that's on our radar, and it's priority, because just about every CAC, people I talk to, it's the speeding and the loud mufflers being a big one. Because I worked in Northeast with Capitol Boulevard, and that sheets that they put over there on, Green Road. And with that being 24 hours, they just come through there and it's like a racetrack. They're just doing circles.
I live in Quail Hollow, which is not Capitol Boulevard, but people don't realize it, that in residential areas, you can hear the stop signs and you can hear these speed humps because people slow down for them and then they hit the gas.
Yep.
And you can hear all that noise that goes with those, so.
Yeah.
What time does the construction start? Because I'm hearing 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you got a tough spot over there with all that's going on. It's supposed to be 7 a.m. to 11 p.m.
So what do we do if they
So-
were here at 4?
So I've had that before where trash trucks were going and picking up dumpsters.
Yeah.
Real loud
Yeah.
behind these shopping
When they
centers.
back up, when they back.
Yep. Yeah. So they're not supposed to be out there working until 7 a.m. So if you're hearing that and it's a constant thing, if it's waking you up, I would have, I don't know if you want to do this or not, but if you want to have a little notepad next to your bed and
Yeah.
write down the date and time, and
Okay.
then say, look, I did it for a week. 5 out of the 7 days, they were out there at 5:30 a.m. or whatever you write down.
And who do you address it to?
So you can call 911 and report a noise violation. You can also call the district, and the desk officer should let the beat officers that, I know we have zones, but certain officers are assigned to certain areas, so they can keep an eye on that. And the more complaints we get about it, the more teeth we have to try
And
to
if
go
you
out there.
don't find them,
See, that's the only thing. If we get out there and there's nothing that we hear, then there's not much we can do about it. So, you gotta keep calling though. And I know it can be frustrating, because if we get out there and they're gone, or they've stopped, or whatever it may be, it's something we have to witness. Does that make sense?
yeah, no, but if you guys are so busy, if there's a delay.
Hopefully at 5 a.m. we're not too busy. Back in the day, you could,
4.
4 a.m. Back in the day, we didn't have a problem. We could get there. As I mentioned, Raleigh's changed a lot. So in 19 years, we used to have time to be able to take a break.
But if these people are told that this ordinance, that you can't do this before 7, and they do it repeatedly before 7.
So with the construction, it can be, you have different contractors possibly. So it could be a situation where this contractor's following the rules, but this one's not. So it's something the project manager would need to be, hey, you guys can't be out there till 7. And again, every project's different, and a lot of those guys are on time crunches. So they're trying to maximize what they can get done in a day.
I'm gonna get the president to do something about
Hey,
it.
there's an award winner over here.
No, I mean the president.
Yeah, hey, whatever it takes. Good luck. Yes, ma'am.
The intersection, Northbrook, where we live, has become a thoroughfare as people realize they can get from A to B and not get on Six Forks Road.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly hard to get out or in there. But the biggest problem is people do not know how to work the crosswalk there. And those children trying, I mean, I come out there a lot in the morning and you just pray they're not gonna get slaughtered. Because the crossing guard's trying to cross them and people are going around her. And I mean, since school's been out again, it is just ridiculous. Between the red light runners and the people that don't know, you're not supposed to go till they're safely on the sidewalk. But I mean, anybody walking to Carroll, and a lot of our kids do walk over there, you know, from our neighborhood, so.
I went to Carroll in 6th grade, so I know how it can be with
I know
that.
you had a campaign at one time to literally watch the crosswalks and start citing the cars, pulling them over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Well, people have gotten to the point where they're in such hurries, or they're on their phones.
but we used to see police officers sitting there periodically and just nailing those people.
Yeah.
You get a couple tickets and maybe they'll start paying attention, but between the red light runners and those poor kids trying to cross, I mean, I try not to go that way because it scares me so much.
Yeah. I'll make a note on that, and we'll see if we can't run a project out there.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Who would supply like sandwich board signs that can be put there in the crosswalk? You know, saying you may not pass when children are present, you know, I've seen signs like that in other places. But I don't know, is that something
can
the school district has to supply or what the police department supply?
I can talk with our city of Raleigh sign guy. I call him my sign guy because that's what he helps me out with when I get complaints. But he can look at possibly putting a sign there, just kind of reiterating the crosswalk rules, regulations. But that's definitely something we can look at. Because the smaller signs, I don't know if it's something the crossing guard might be able to put out there. I can talk with our crossing guard coordinator and see if they have anything like that. I don't know if they do or not.
There probably is some kind of standardized wording that needs to be on a sign.
Yeah, because I've seen crosswalks, state law, you must stop for pedestrians within the crosswalk. That's probably what it would be, something along those lines. So that's definitely something that we could look at trying to get put there if that's an issue that you're seeing pretty much on a regular basis.
Because in another part of the city, like 5 years ago, I remember a crossing guard was hit and killed. I don't remember where it was, but it was somewhere.
Like some kind of blinking light.
Yeah, that would be beneficial. I know like certain areas, falls and news, of course, people come up and they push the button and it blinks and that turns red, the yellow, red lights, so.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something, we've done projects out there, and I've been here a long time, and we've done projects, people don't stop for those.
You're supposed to add a couple of 6 works.
Yeah, so
Is that what they're gonna do?
That's where the $7 million is going, yes.
I would assume, I assume people aren't gonna stop these days. Cause I've seen it in the police car. I was in my police car at Hollenden and Spring Forest, or Hollenden and New Hope. And the light turned green, the car in front of me went, and I saw this guy coming, he didn't even stop, he just run right through it. Pulled him over, he didn't realize, he's like, what are you talking about? So I showed him the video in my car, and my light turned green. If I would have just gone, he would have smashed me, but, that just goes to show you, people, they're not paying attention.
They mentioned school zones, it's something I've wondered about. You see a sign that says speed limit, whatever it is, certain times on school days. I don't know if it's a school day or not, because they have them and they don't have, you know, so I don't know if it's a school day, and 2, what time is it, you know? So if they had a flashing light when it was that speed limit, that would explain it. It's a school day and it's time.
Yeah, I've seen that in some areas, it's a matter of money, everything's a matter of money. So yeah, Millbrook
On the road
Elementary
there, I mean,
has it up
it's
there.
like, but
East Millbrook Middle School has it over there.
but how do you know it's a school day?
So,
Because many days are not school days.
yeah, well, you can always gamble
Yeah.
and get pulled over. But I would just urge caution if it's a
Well, I
weekday.
know, but I'm just
I
saying, the
understand.
sign that says school day.
I understand where
Whether
you're
it's a
coming
school
from.
day or not.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
what's with the police pickup trucks? That's new, isn't it?
Pickup is supposed to be for supervisors.
I've seen them before and all of a sudden I was like, what is that?
Yeah, so like for me, it's very helpful because we do events. I got tables, I put tents in there. I can carry a lot more things, waters, whatever it may be. So it's just a matter of contracts, whatever the city goes with contracts, they're doing away. I don't think they renewed the Explorer contract, maybe. I know, see, like Crown Vics, they were phased out. So it's a matter of whatever the city contracts are. So it's not really in our hands. I just drive whatever they tell me
Probably
to.
getting something.
Yeah, I mean, the truck, I like, my truck's nice because, like I said, being on the community squad, it really helps me because I got my tents and everything I gotta carry back there. We even have an ice cream cart. So if you have an event, you want us to bring out an ice cream cart, we can do that. Only bad thing about the ice cream cart is it has to stay plugged in to stay cold. But don't get me started.
I don't know.
We didn't think that one through, but it's a nice cart if you could just plug it in, but I can't really push it anywhere, right? Because it's gotta stay plugged in. I just, yeah, so this is where we're at. But, anybody else?
You do, thank you for coming.
Yeah, it need a generator, more portable generator. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you.
I appreciate it. And I hope to see you all again. Like I said, I'm usually assigned to the Northeast, so I do the East, CAC, Lion Park. And I've done the north one up there at Abbott's Creek, so.
Yeah, North City.
Yeah, so, like I said, I've been here 19 years, so I'm invested. If anybody knows Don or Ellen Hinton, well, a lot of people do in the area, because they taught at Millbrook High School, Athens Drive, did. Those are my parents, so I got a lot of family in the area. And I'm invested in the community, and I want it to be safe for friends and family and everybody here. So anything you can do to help, just let us know. Nice to meet everyone. My numbers, I'll send them to
That
you.
would be terrific.
I'm so sorry. I
That's
feel
okay.
so bad. My first one, and I was coming in, and I said, Sarge, did you get them?
And I'll copy you directly next.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, I think we're ready for our main event. You guys all set? Maggie? We have Maggie Bailey and Dave Klemp. Is that correct?
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
But you don't trip like that.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Maggie Bailey. I'm the Executive Director of We Plan It Forward, and I'm here with.
Dave Klemp, Executive Director of Trees for the Triangle.
Dave's gonna talk first a little bit, then I'll talk, and I'm also wanna give a little bit of a overview on the Leaf Out program that the city of Raleigh is started. And then we'll take some time for questions after that. Sound good? All right.
Cool. Well, hey, like I said, I'm Dave. I run Trees for the Triangle. We're a nonprofit based right here in Raleigh, operating across the Triangle region. And as our name suggests, we plant trees in the Triangle. So we do only plant native trees. That is our focus. And as far as I know, we're the world's only pay what you can tree planting program. That's kind of our claim to fame. We're not famous yet, but when we are, that will be our claim to fame. So I started Trees for the Triangle in 2017 after I worked for a few years for the Raleigh Neighborhoods program. If folks remember the Neighborhoods program, that was a free tree program through the city. So I worked a little bit with the Urban Forestry Division there. And then in the wake of that being shut down, I started Trees for the Triangle. So we keep some tree planting going. Some benefits to having a private nonprofit plant trees in that, you know, when I worked for Neighborhoods, we were kind of one hand behind our back because we could only plant in the right of way, which, as you know, can be anywhere from a couple feet to maybe 5 feet if you're lucky. So we got to go across the sidewalk and we could plant anywhere we like with permission, obviously. But we get to go into that golden field of the front lawns all across the city and all across the triangle. So it's a great opportunity for us to plant trees with fewer restrictions. And we've gotten to connect to a lot of people over the last 8 years or so. We've gotten a couple thousand trees planted so far. And that's really with me being the only staff member up until March and a lot of volunteer power, which we're thankful for. But we have been building our capacity. Like I said, up till March, I was the only employee. Now there are 4 of us. I'm hoping by January, there will be 6 people on staff. So we've been kind of growing our admin, and we actually just this month started our first field tech position. She's a part-timer, but she's solely working on doing site assessments and tree planting. So we're really excited about that. So we're hoping to expand our capacity, do a lot more tree planting, starting with this tree planting season, which is coming up. Today is the equinox, so it's the first day of fall. It's also Hobbit Day. It's Bilbo Baggins' birthday. So hobbits like myself are celebrating all over the world. But what was I gonna say? I got distracted. Tree planting season is coming up. So we officially call our tree planting season from October through April. So kind of the cool half of the year. It's too hot in the summer, so we're not planting right now, but we are doing site assessments to gear up for that. Based on the tree requests that we've had come in. We do pretty much all of our tree planting right now on a request basis. So anybody with a home that wants a tree in their house can get a tree. We'll do churches, schools is a big one. Our Shade for Schools program is something we're really ramping up this year. We got a couple of grants to do some school campuses in Wake and Orange counties. So we'll be planting at 20 plus campuses in the next year or two, using those grants. So we're really excited about that. Get the kids involved, get some shade on their playgrounds and carpool lanes and things where it's really hot, very hot and under trees. So we're ramping that up. Yeah, we're just trying to get as many trees everywhere that we can that makes sense, right tree, right place. And we do only focus on native trees. And I think I'm gonna stop talking while I'm ahead here and let you take over because there's some.
And Dave, can I ask you a question?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
You kind of hit on it. I've had neighbors with dead trees in the right of way. The city will come out, take care of the dead tree.
Sure.
But what I didn't know is they don't replant the tree anymore. So
Yeah.
should they
That was
be
something I used
directed?
to do.
Yeah, should they be directed over to you?
I'd be happy to have people send us a request. We're happy to plant in the right of way. We'll make sure to follow the guidelines, the same guidelines I used to use for the city, we still use now. So we've adopted all the same rules as far as putting the right tree in the right place, avoiding utilities or stop signs, things like that. So yeah, I'm happy to work on that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So Dave,
Oh,
And I walk quite a bit all through this neighborhood and notice the sidewalks really get messed up. And it's caused by tree roots too close to the sidewalk.
buckling.
Is there a regulation? How close can you plant a tree to a sidewalk?
Well, that's a good question. I know, we try and not plant anything that's at least 3 feet between the curb and the sidewalk. And in that case, we'd still do only a small maturing tree like a dogwood or a redbud that really doesn't get too big of a root system. If I want to plant an oak tree or something, I'm looking for at least a 5 to 6 foot gap there, or the areas where there is no sidewalk, which is great for us.
I was just curious.
People trying to walk, but
Roots tear up sidewalks.
they definitely do some damage if you put them in a really cramped spot. So it's in our minds, right tree, right place is the thing to follow. I gotta say, I like the trees more than I like the sidewalks, but the sidewalks are important. Sidewalks can be repaved from time to time. Takes I'm sure a little bit of work to get the city to do that. And we don't want to spend all of our time and money replacing sidewalks. So try not to have them buckle, but man, if it's a matter of 100-year-old oak tree, or a sidewalk, I'll take the tree personally, but I know
So-
that's,
so-
we still wanna have healthy sidewalks that are
About
safe.
100-year oak trees, aren't they protected in Raleigh? Are they areas that are protected in Raleigh? Because like, I have one next door to me that was a Finching Road, but it was a beautiful tree, maybe over 100 years old. Massive, they cut it, it was beautiful, nothing wrong with it.
I think
There's
under
not-
2 acres,
They're not
The city can't
protected
do
unless
anything.
they're designated a champion tree, and there's a whole application process. for
What's
that.
a champion tree?
It's where you sort of apply for it to be a champion tree and then
above a certain size, I
designated
believe,
an
right?
age.
Yeah. Beyond that, the city's working with a hand or two tied behind their back. The carrot and the stick analogy, there is not much stick that they can use with lots under, I believe it's 2
2
acres. They really can't regulate that, and that comes down to your General Assembly folks downtown
So
Raleigh.
it's over 2 acres, it's a different rules than.
Then they get to do a lot more regulation if it's a big lot. Obviously,
I see.
most of us live on lots that are,
Yeah.
I'm on
Right.
0.22
Maximum,
myself,
yeah.
so, that, they can't do anything
What a shame.
about that for the most part, as far as I know.
Unless
I can see
we
it.
start speaking up and ask for the UDO.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of these beautiful oak trees that are being just cut down in these neighborhoods.
I have
For
heard
no
that-
reason.
I've heard that Charlotte is doing more and recently passed some bigger protections for trees that we're hoping maybe we could emulate.
I do know
if
it's
that
being
goes over
talked
well.
about.
Yeah, she's
among-
gonna have more to say about
Yeah,
the
among
leaf, the
cities,
leaf out
yeah.
plan, which is, is a group of us meeting every month to try and push for more tree protections and planting and
And
et
collection,
cetera, et cetera. Yeah,
And,
for the ones on the side of the road, like, I feel like,
yeah,
like,
Right.
and then I'll bring them a fresh in the back.
so just to speak a little bit about the sidewalk issues, the city is starting to use a new product, so they have their, I think you've seen on the sidewalks where they actually cut the sidewalk when it starts to get too high, so they're doing that. But they're gonna start using a newer product that, is kind of malleable and flexible, so that, it will be, instead of a piece of sidewalk coming up, it'll be more rounded, where these old growth trees are existing. And so not as much of a tripping hazard, right? If it's rounded versus something sticking up, right? So they're looking at that sort of as a way to, keep trees, but fix sidewalks. So you might start seeing that, and I know they've started implementing it downtown. So that's a new product that they're gonna be using. So like Trees for the Triangle, We Plant Forward also does tree planting in the area. I founded We Plant Forward in 2009, and we've been planting trees. We do tree giveaways. Actually, this is my presentation.
well, I'm gonna step out of the way here. I'll let you
Yeah.
do that.
So we work to restore and preserve the natural environment, and we do that in various ways. You can go ahead and move forward. Maybe. Okay. So we have a vision to engage, educate, preserve, and restore the natural environment. This is something that we have to do together. We can't operate in a silo, and we need to do it with the people in the community, with the municipal officials, with the developers. We all need to work together. So that's sort of a mission of ours and vision of working together, like Trees for the Triangle, We Plant Forward are doing that. So this is sort of who we are. You can go ahead and move forward. And we rely on a lot of volunteers. We have a list of about 500, and annually about 300 or more people volunteer with We Plant Forward. We do a lot of group volunteers, opportunities, and these are just some of the ones we've done in the past. We've been hosting the annual Arbor Day Festival at Dix Park, and it was at Chivas Park one year, with the city of Raleigh, and we will continue to do that, as time goes forward. It's an opportunity for us to celebrate trees, educate and build awareness about the value and critical part they play in our green infrastructure. So this is more about Arbor Day.
Yeah, when is Arbor Day?
So Arbor Day, the official Arbor Day for North Carolina is the first Friday after the 15th of March, which is actually the worst time of year for us to have an Arbor Day because it's the end of the planting season. And so what we are gonna actually be doing moving forward, and I know Trees for the Triangle does it in the fall, but we're gonna work with the city, have the mayor proclaim Raleigh's Arbor Day will be in the fall. But it'll be year to year and it'll be,
So do we need to go to the General Assembly or?
no, well, yes, actually, yes, I think we all should, like, so that I think that maybe the reason that North Carolina back in the day declared that date is because the National Arbor Day is the last Friday in April. And so wanting to do maybe something close to the national. And that date actually kind of makes sense because in the northern part of our country, the planting season is in the summer, right? And the spring.
Nebraska,
and the
so
fall.
you gotta wait for the fall there.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about
Right.
the fall here, yeah.
So anyway, I think it's a great idea. I've actually thought about that, sort of doing some sort of campaign to get.
We're back here on that. Our Arbor Day is gonna be on Sunday if anybody wants to come out.
Didn't the National Arbor Day used to be in the fall? I always thought it was.
I think it's always been in the
spring.
spring. It's been about 100 years or so,
Yeah,
right, of Arbor Days now.
Years, yeah.
Change the name of it.
I don't know, you have Earth Day in the spring, you should have Arbor Day
Earth
in
Day,
the fall.
then, yeah, then Earth Day's in April,
Yeah.
right, so.
So we do all kinds of tree plantings. This is, we did a tree planting at Tambra Place. It's it was a 2-acre space where they have housing for transitional youth who are going from foster care and now are adults and don't have a place to live. And so they asked us to come and do some tree planting for them, and so we did that. So we work with, other nonprofits. This is a planting we did at Triangle Land Conservancy's Williamson Preserve, sort of helping with reforestation efforts. So this is just a couple of them, but we like Trees for the Triangle. We do planting on private, but we will also help with public, because I don't have pictures of this, but last year we did a tree planting at City of Raleigh's Lake Wheeler Park. And that was an effort. They had removed a lot of invasive species. And so this was an effort to reforest with native trees. And like Trees for the Triangle, we only plant native trees. So another effort of ours is to help preserve our biodiversity by collecting native tree seeds. So we do this all year round, and we work in partnership with 2 local tree nurseries. Leaf and Limb Tree Service has a nonprofit tree nursery called Project Pando. And then Living Soil Tree Farm is another North Carolina nursery. And so we collect seeds and we give them the seeds, they grow the trees, and then we get back some of the trees from them to use for our tree plantings and our tree giveaways. So this is, I really enjoy these events where we take groups out to local parks. So we partner with local parks to get permission to collect seeds. We also go on to conservation land. So these are all really native. They're native and wild, not planted or cultivated. So It's a lot of fun. This right here is the tarp and stick method. So, where you just gently tap the tree, have the tarp under there, and the seeds, you know, if they're ready, they just drop. And so it's actually a lot of fun. Really
We can
fun.
give you plenty, I mean.
Yeah, you want some acorns?
Yeah, we got plenty of input.
Yeah, you know what, we can talk, I can give you some connections and we could talk, because we're definitely.
I've got a walnut tree that I'd love to give you with from down from the
All
wall.
right, super. Okay.
Wow.
So more collecting, you know, kids can, this is a nice one, that kids can really be involved and, more to start.
What kind of trees are?
This was a water oak. This is a persimmon. And I think I'm just talking here. I don't think we were actually collecting at that point.
So how long does it take them to grow to a complete size?
It depends on the tree.
Yeah, but.
It depends on the,
let's say
so, you know, it could be a mature tree anywhere from 20 to 50 or even 100 years. It
Oh, wow.
just depends on the tree. Yeah. Would you say?
Yeah, if you give just about any tree about 30 years,
Oh,
it's
wow.
gonna get to maturity or close. I mean,
Yeah.
oak tree might only be 80 out of its eventual 100, but
Yeah.
I mean, you can get pretty close in 30 years, most of them.
So with those seeds, sometimes we'll get groups together to actually do some of the processing, which means just getting those seeds ready for planting. So like if it's a fruit, like a dogwood has a red berry, well, the red is the fruit part, the seed's inside, so we gotta get that seed out, so it's just sort of working on it, like that. So it's a lot of work, but if you get a big group, you can get it done. Alright. More seed processing, so he was really into it. We also do, environmental education. Okay, go ahead. And it's both children and adults, just sort of educating about benefits of trees, how trees function, the critical, need for trees in our green infrastructure. One more on this one. So here I'm doing a tree planting demonstration, and then these are all sort of kids and adults interested. We also host rain barrel workshops. We do that just a few times a year where you come and make your own rain barrel, 55-gallon rain barrel to take home and set up your own water conservation program at home. We supply all the barrels, all the parts, and you just make it right in the workshop. It's like a lot of fun, and everybody's really excited that they get this rain barrel to take home.
We need rain.
I know, yeah, definitely. The other thing that we do are tree giveaways, and, you know, we give out native trees, we give out diverse kinds of trees, so we're not just giving you a longleaf pine or just oaks. We give out all kinds of trees. Last year alone, we gave out 25 different species of trees. So we're really the diversity, keeping the diversity of trees in our community is really important to our environment. So it's important to us.
Who do you give them out to?
You.
So we apply.
We apply?
No.
We call you in order.
No,
Just
we
show
don't
up.
do it that, you just show up. So the way that you can find out about when we're doing tree giveaways, and we do them all year round. We go to different community events to do them. We definitely have it at our Arbor Day celebration. You can be put on an email list to be notified when we're doing a tree giveaway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't do orders because that takes a lot of capacity to just do individual orders.
Yeah. So you just,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So, and you can see a lot of diversity.
They don't tend to run out. She brings a lot.
Oh.
So.
All right, let's try and then this was our impact just this year. You know, we had volunteers, the hours they worked, the trees we planted, the giveaways. I already told you about the different kinds of species, and then our environmental education. So, I think we're on one more slide, and that's it. So if you need to, want to contact me, you can do it through there. I'd like to do a few slides on the Leaf Out program and then maybe ask some questions. I know that we have some questions.
Do you have more slides or is it?
It is, I do have more, if you keep going, you can see it. All right, so this is, these next slides are on the Raleigh Leaf Out. Disclaimer, this is not an official Raleigh presentation. I am a resident just like you. And this is, we plan forward's understanding and perspective of the Leaf Out program. We, like Trees for the Triangle, have been intimately involved in the development of it. We've been at, all the meetings and given significant input and debate about all kinds of things. Go ahead. So, so Leaf Out's focus is, it's basically a master tree canopy plan for the city of Raleigh's property. So the trees on city of Raleigh owned land. So this is not on private property. And so it's going to be around, protection, expansion, and care of the trees. And, it says on the website even that it's not about regulating private trees. Raleigh is, has just finished its strategic plan, but the UDO is going to be getting updated. So this is the time for us to speak up about any concerns we have around changing, so that there might be more regulations around preserving and restoring the tree canopy on private lands.
So who do we address? Where do we send that?
City planning probably is the best. Yeah, that would be my recommendation. So there are three parts to the plan. The protection of the existing trees, the expansion of the canopy, and then, importantly, the education and stewardship. And so, in my mind, that doesn't just include the residents, but it also includes the developers and any kind of business who would be impacting trees. And so, while the Leaf Out will provide education, I think it's up to us to bring the developers to the table so that we can sort of talk and figure out how we can move forward and protect trees a little more. Right. So the timeline for this, they've already finished the research and the staff have been putting together the vision goal of everything, and they are this fall going to, I think it's maybe even December that they're going to be presenting an actual action plan for this, and then asking City Council to consider it for approval. So that's just sort of a loose timeline that
So Maggie, who is it? Is it urban forestry? Is it the planning group? I mean, who's that?
It's urban forestry. Primarily, it is some planning is also involved, so it's a combination, but yeah.
Everything's a combination.
I was gonna say, I think their goal is to really be across a lot of departments.
Yes.
Between planning, urban forestry, Parks and Rec, Public Works,
Stormwater.
all these departments that work with and are affected by trees. They're really trying to
Right.
make this plan stretch across all these different
Yeah.
departments so that they can work together.
Yeah, definitely. So I think urban forestry is sort of, the lead, but they are working internally to make sure that across departments that, that there's buy-in on this plan. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, there are state restrictions of things you can and can't do, right? Like, you can't stop clear cutting because the state says, municipalities don't have any say in it.
Right, yeah, but definitely Dylan's law, we have to, we're at the beck and call of the state legislature, so it's a fine line to walk to try and push the envelope, but not push too hard, because if you push too hard, they'll take things away.
Yeah.
All right, we've seen it happen, and we don't want things taken away, so it really is, it's too bad, but it's this very delicate walk that that has to be, taken. So there are existing programs, and I don't know a lot about them. But there's the buffer builder bag, BBB. And this is a stormwater program that is, if you have a riparian, like along a creek or some waterway, they will give you a bag of seedlings to plant, native seedlings to plant along the waterway to help prevent erosion.
Oh.
So that's what that is, and you can apply for that at this web address, and she has a copy of it, so you could actually include that maybe in the notes. And Raleigh Rainwater Rewards is something similar in that they will, you have to apply, but they will help you set up sort of a rainwater, stormwater management on your property if you're having issues with flooding or stormwater runoff. So you can apply for assistance and they'll provide financial assistance for that. And also just sort of substantive guidance on what will be the best solution for your property. So, but that's about all I know, so.
I can't remember, you may be able to use that for tree planting?
Yeah, I
Money
think
for
tree
that?
planting could be part of the solution, but I don't think I think it is really very water oriented.
Right, only where it's gonna affect rainwater for that.
Yeah.
And then I'll butt in with, Raleigh has its neighborhood registry. And if your neighborhood is on the neighborhood registry, which I assume most in Midtown probably are.
There's a bunch around.
Yeah, so if your neighborhood's on that, every year there are grants that individual neighborhoods can apply for improvement or events. And so I believe tree planting can fall under those grants as well. So if you want to organize your neighborhood to apply for money, there's money sitting there that they'll give you. So it's another city program.
All right, and then just a few other things. You can volunteer. There's, tree planting, invasive removal opportunities with the city. And also just serving on a board, on the Parks, Recreation, Greenway Advisory Board. And then there's of that board, there's the Sustainability Wildlife Urban Tree Committee. So if you're interested in serving, this is the URL to apply. And then if you're interested in volunteering for the city, that address is how you do that. That's it. We're kind of right at time, but I didn't know if maybe people had some questions, some quick questions.
I do. Can you speak about what people can do with the leaves since they're not going to be picking up leaves anymore? What should they be doing with the leaves that fall in their yard rather than blowing them into the streets?
I think Larry sent out in his email my little reply I gave to him.
I did.
But the very best thing you can do is actually leave the leaves in your yard. It's the best thing you can do for the environment. But if you have a lawn and you leave the leaves, it will kill your lawn. So you could just rake them out of the lawn and put them, rake them into the beds, but it's good for the insects and worms. It'll increase the health of your soil. and it will help the birds and other wildlife. So, so that's the very best thing you can do. So some of the other things that
Mulching trees.
you could mulch your leaves if you don't want them to be really big. Like if my husband is deathly afraid of snakes. And so like when I'm trying to get him to leave the leaves in the yard, I was like, well, just mulch the leaves then, right? So if you break them up with a mower, you can, they'll just be smaller and you won't have to have that major worry any more than you already do in your yard, right? Because we live in North Carolina. And then the other is bagging your leaves for, you can either bag them in paper bags, please, for the city to pick up at, on the every other day yard waste day. You put them in your bin, and if it's too much for your bin, then put them in the paper bags.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I just saw again on next door. Somebody's always writing in, what do you do with leaves, especially in the yard? And the common response is just leave them there, they're good for the yard. But as you pointed out, I mean, if you don't mulch them, you don't cut them with the lawnmower, if you don't do something with them, they will kill the yard.
They'll kill the grass, but you can leave them in your mulch beds. That's fine. You don't need to break them up for that. But it will ground your grass. Yeah.
So mulching trees, the volcano mulching around.
Yeah,
trees.
please don't do that.
You wanna tell them why?
Yeah, please don't volcano mulch your trees.
So you guys know what that is?
No,
Yeah,
what is that?
Okay, good. I'm glad I'm not preaching to the choir here. This is good that I get to tell new people who haven't heard this already. I tell a lot of people, they're like, yeah, we've got it. But volcano mulching is when you see mulch, whether it's leaves or pine straw or wood chips or what have you, piled, sloping pretty far up the trunk of the tree there. So it looks like a volcano that just happens to be spewing a tree out. This is wrong in every scenario. You'll see it a lot because people, at this point, there's enough momentum of people having seen other people do it, so you assume that it's the right thing. This is my theory. And landscapers, God bless them, can make a great lawn, but they don't know anything about trees. As a rule, there are exceptions. So if you see that, please correct it. Don't do it to somebody else's trees, but your trees at least, so we can protect those. What mulch does as a function is it holds moisture in. That's what makes it great for making good soil and for holding excess rainwater, which is fantastic for your soil, for your microbes and everything else. But when you hold moisture against a tree, trees are made of
Trunk.
Wood.
Right?
Wood, when it gets wet, it rots, right?
Yeah.
Trees are no exception, even though they're living wood, they still will rot at the bottom too. So you're causing a problem there that could kill your tree. So we like to say, if you're gonna mulch your trees, and we hope that you will, to think donut, not volcano, donut.
Donut.
Yeah, so don't even worry about touching the trunk of the tree.
That's
Because the main thing that you wanna do with mulch is hold moisture down in the soil for the roots, not for the trunk. So if you take anything away from tonight, please, donut, not volcano.
I wish I'd listened to this lecture
Yeah.
a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And it might have known it.
Yeah,
Well,
it's not too late.
I didn't,
Oh,
I
it's too late
didn't,
for
I
that.
didn't plant them. I have people plant them for me, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what they did.
They just don't know, and
And
it's not their
died.
fault, I won't
And
fault
I've
you
been
for that.
wondering why they died.
Yeah,
Now I
that
know.
could have been it.
Now I know.
So I tell people to leave like a 4-inch radius between the trunk and the mulch ring. So you should see bare ground. And the other thing that's really important about leaving that lower part of the trunk, that's called the root flare, where the trunk and the roots meet. And you kind of see this angled part of the tree. That needs to stay uncovered. There's actually exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide there. And so, so it needs to be left open. And the tree just won't live to its full maturity if you have that volcano mulch. Yeah. Any other questions?
I have a question. I'm glad that you're here because every time the city comes and they talk about greenways or you're doing this thing, I always ask them, okay, what are you gonna do to replace the trees? And then they always go dead silent. So is there, can you, like, do you work with the city? So whenever they say, hey, we're gonna redo this tract of
Yeah.
greenway, or we're gonna do whatever, we're gonna have to obliterate so many trees. Because I understand there's no regulation that says, you know, you gotta protect the tree. But I guess it would be nice if the city felt compelled
Yeah.
that they should replace what they take. And so I just don't know if that's, you know, I know that's,
It's a really good point, and, so a couple of things on that. I'm always reaching out to the city to, see where they need help planting. And the leaf out plan, I think, is gonna start to address that. So the city, it's not like the city doesn't think about it. They do, and it's about getting all the departments on board. It's also about capacity and funding. So once you get a tree in the ground, especially if it's more in a neighborhood, they need care. And let's say even if it's along a greenway, if it's close to the greenway, you know, it needs care, it needs pruning to make sure it doesn't become a hazard, you know, as it grows over the greenway. So there's just a lot to consider. And but I think the leaf out plan is gonna start addressing that more. But the other thing that's really, really helpful is you asking that question every time. Because when they hear us wanting protection and restoration of trees, they will start to listen to more and more people that ask.
They expect it from us tree freaks,
They do.
right? So they're like, yeah, okay. But then if they hear it from everybody, then they're like, oh, okay, this is really something we need to worry about.
And I think that this whole, like, the leaf out program had started, I didn't mention this, because there was a group of residents affectionately called the Oak Folk Collaborative. Dave and I have been attending their meetings, got together because they were so upset about how many trees were being cut down. And so we presented to the city council a year ago. And it was that effort that the leaf out plan initiative started. So our voices really do have an impact. So don't be quiet. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks. Sorry for coming to.
Hey, David, you've got time. And let me allow you to share. Okay, you should have the ability to share. Excellent. This is David Brown.
Right here.
Going to give you an update on what we heard the last meeting. What's the last meeting?
Yeah, it was last meeting. So who was here at the last meeting? Okay, I'll try not to bore you with more updates. My name is David Ray. I've lived in Anderson Forest, which is basically the corner of Six Forks and Anderson since 1987. So I've been here a long time. I think I moved here when I was 12. We spoke last time about something that's going on just to the north of us, and kind of going to give a little bit of an update, and just kind of let you know how it affects everybody, not just us. So update since last CAC meeting, just so you know, this is the area that we're talking about. So this is Six Forks right here. This is Anderson Drive, that's Oakland Drive. This area right here is two 1,200 square foot houses that sit on 1.9 acres. And they're trying to turn that into 18 townhomes. So that's a lot of townhomes and a lot of impervious surface.
So is that on the east side?
North Hills is up here.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah. it's on the east side.
I get confused, which is north and south. I just found out that we're in the southwest police district. So it's kind of.
You're in the south.
Yeah, so, that's my house right there. I was moved there in 87, moved there in 2001. And, this is, 1.9 acres. And they want to put 18
Okay.
townhomes on it. And, if you want to do the math, the increase is from 0.5 acres of impervious surface to 84,000 square feet of impervious surface. So, real quick, go ahead.
That in and of itself should just wipe.
And we're just north of Big Branch Creek,
I know.
which already floods. Just kind of give you a couple updates. One is, anyone know what missing middle is? Okay, so missing middle is basically a term that is used to basically allow high density, townhomes, apartments, and so forth, kind of into the middle of any particular area between single family homes. The reason why this was done is because it's very hard to get those into, R2 and R4 zone lots without due process, okay? So the text change occurred in 2021, 2022 that basically allows this to happen in people's backyards without any zoning whatsoever. So the zone behind my house is R4, and they're able to do R10 without anybody complaining that it's about to happen. So, and I'll tell you why. Why it matters. This one specifically is very interesting. There's a whole bunch of missing middle cases. There's probably 10 or 15 running around. Hayes Barton is a big one, if anyone's ever heard of that one. But what's interesting about this one is in 2008 and 2015, during normal due process, they tried to use the same land to put in a dental office and 6 houses. And it initially failed during the rezoning process due to traffic issues, as well as a couple other little issues, but mostly was traffic. And this one can pass and the bulldozers can be on the lot without anybody really knowing what's going on. So it's an interesting loophole that's allowing the same owner to go for his third time and actually might get it to work. The reason why DOT requirements cause problems before is Six Forks, as you know, is a very dangerous road. It's very fast. The average speed on Six Forks, clocked by the guy who was just here earlier with their little machines, is almost 50 miles an hour. I know it's a 40-mile-an-hour road, but even 40 is too fast for that one. We have watershed issues, like I just said, approximately 2,400 square feet currently on those, 1.9 acres, and they're going to have 82,000 square feet of impervious once they do this. And the text change basically has rezoned all of Raleigh's residents without any input. So I want to let you know why they can do this. So if you live within a quarter mile of a mass transit route, so bus route goes north-south or east-west or whatever, so you're talking Six Forks, Falls of the Neuse, Glenwood, Atlantic, any of those where you have bus routes, anywhere within a quarter mile of each side, if a lot pops up, they can move it from R4, R2 to R10. So it could be a 1 acre lot, a 2 acre lot. They can do that without anybody really knowing about it. The only people that don't know about it is within 100 feet of the property, they have to give you a letter. So not the big signs you usually see for rezoning or something like
David,
that.
just so you know, it's worse than that. Even if you were not within the quarter mile, the way they've got it now, if you are near a transit corridor, it'll take you in. Got a couple of neighborhoods that's done that.
So basically what this does is it takes a quarter mile or even more of any of those roads, and you have all been rezoned to R10 if your neighbor decides to sell his lot. Okay? And they did it with a text change to the UDO. Okay. But what's funny is the UDO references IMAP as for you to figure out where the zone is, which is a zone, but anyway.
How big are the minimums for the lots, acreage?
Well, so R10 means you can put 10 homes, units on an acre.
Oh.
Okay, R4 is what typically Raleigh is, which is you get a quarter acre.
Yeah.
R2 is rare in Raleigh, but R4 is pretty common. So what you can do is I put flyers back there if you want. There's QR codes and everything, but we have a website up. So if you want to sign the petition, ours is the second fastest growing petition in the Raleigh market right now. The first growing one is that 30-story behemoth going down on P Street. Kind of blew us away over the last week, but I can understand why. So we'd love for you to do that. We've got lots of data on the website as far as other missing middle cases and just sort of some statistics about it. So please go there. Again, informational links and so forth. I think we've done a pretty good job of that. Petition page, right now we're running about 3 or 4 a day, which, okay, great, 3 or 4 a day, but it slowly grows. And people can see those. I have a flyer back there. Again, grab it. Kind of tells you why it matters to you. For advocacy from the general public or residents, it really doesn't affect our case. Okay, right now, the developers already put in their application. If missing middle was repealed today by the city council, it probably wouldn't stop this one, but it could stop other ones in the future. Okay, so we still believe in advocacy. When we came in last time, the developer had failed their submission as of, I think it was done June or July 29th. They did resubmit last week. So they're on the clock already, and it looks like they'll get review by the 3rd of October is what it's looking like. So what this means is.
Review by whom?
What?
Review by whom?
So that's, okay, so what happens is there's a list of people that review, I don't know, engineering, planning, solid waste, stormwater, fire protection. So there's a person that looks at the plans and basically looks at the UDO and says, does this plan meet the UDO? And if the answer is yes, they check mark it, it goes green, moves on, okay? So no one else is seeing this other than the reviewers of the city. So right now they got 2 greens, they got 1 that they didn't get before, and they're slowly gonna be working through that process.
It's known as administrative review, which really means that the public has no access to the information.
So this one is my favorite picture. So these are the 2 houses right now. This is the lot. And again, you're basically behind all these houses here, all these houses on Anderson, all of those trees, which you guys would love to not get rid of. And they're gonna get rid of it all, right? And they're gonna add some semi-sample planting. These are alleyways. They're too small to be roads, so they're calling them alleyways. So in fact, city sewer or city garbage can't even go in there. It's not wide enough. You'll have to do private trash. This is not wide enough.
So
We'll
how
have to
do
make
you
it
get
wider.
rid of their garbage?
But the private,
Private.
have to pay private.
So
how does the fire truck get back there?
I don't know, but they were one of the first ones to pass off on it before. I guess because there's a fire hydrant right here. Well, there's one right here in front of my house. And I guess that's big enough to get a pump or a hose or whatever. So I don't really know how fire can't get down that road.
Which bring up.
They signed off.
But they were one of the few that signed off last time. So the other interesting thing is that on the first picture I showed you, there is a, I don't know what you call it, a watershed trench or whatever that goes down to Big Branch Creek that comes down through here.
Yeah.
And with the construction that's already happening up on North Hills and even up on these roads in here, that is already flooding the neighborhood houses. In fact, their air conditioning units are already getting flooded. And a half of our neighborhood already has to buy flood insurance because the water that's going down there already. But the biggest concern is traffic. That intersection is the deadliest intersection in Raleigh. Okay, they've already redone it twice. They need to redo it again. But they've had 9 major injury accidents in 5 years. And I think it's 48 total accidents at that intersection.
You're talking about Anderson.
Anderson and Six Forks. And so now going around that corner going north, you're gonna have an apartment complex that could have 50 cars in there. That is a blind turn when you're coming up from the south side. So usually the traffic is bad going, or the accidents are bad going south, but this will now be blind north. So that's kind of the update I have. Again, we're just continuing to do what we're doing and advocating for everybody to go to your city council, man or woman. I know that she's on here. And try to get them to at least look at repealing this, because if you look at even the city of Raleigh statistics, it hasn't really generated a lot of low income housing for the city. And I don't think it's doing its purpose, and it's just.
But they don't answer. I mean, write to them, call.
So I will say that she's listened to me. She voted in our area, District E, Christina. So I mean, she voted against. What's her last name? Jones, Christina Jones. So, and she, when they did the vote before, she did vote to repeal it. But they need 5, they got, I think, 3.
And the 2 that are running now
It's on your, it's on your.
is the one I've invited, she attended.
Okay.
Rona. The other, who else is running? Did we figure that out besides that Mona's attending? She did join. I sent her the.
Jonathan Lambert Nelson's from it.
It's,
I think Nolans need to run for commissioner, hasn't anybody come?
At large commission.
Commissioner.
Yeah, there's 2 new commissioner at larges now.
Yeah. It's about half a
Is it
dozen.
2 new?
Ray, and yeah, there's 2
I
new
think
ones.
it's one now and then one later. The same, I think it's staggered,
We'll talk.
because that was their first thing, so.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
that's what we have to look
What
at.
is the
Mona Singh.
proposed, selling price of these temples?
Don't know. So according to do it via Missy Middle, great question. To do it via this rule, I think it's 10% of the units have to be somewhere between, I think, 65% of ASI. I'm using some acronyms that I can't remember. Basically, there's a number that says this is the average household income in this area. And in order to do this, they have to have like 2 units out of the 18 that are within a probably, I think it's like $50,000 or $60,000 a year income. And then the other ones can be as high. I will tell you, right across the street over here, they put in 4 townhomes right on top of 6 Forks. Those were selling for 1.1 million.
Yep.
And they ended up renting them instead of selling them. I think they rent for like 10 grand a month.
Yep.
So this, in order to make money based on my calculations, they gotta sell them for about 800,000 a piece,
At least.
at least.
So Dave, have you
Not exactly
contemplated
this
hiring a
amount.
lawyer?
Yes, and we're in the middle of aggregating all the funds for that. We've been talking with the lawyer the whole time. He's very smart and just doesn't live in the city of Raleigh, which is a good thing. But we're not, so the other thing that made this interesting, we probably would have done something on the lawyer side before now, but there's a few facts that we found out between last time and this time, which might intrigue you, which is there is an actual statute of limitations on the ODU text change, which apparently is 3 years. So the main lawsuit that got in before that is Hayes Barton. So no one else can really use that same lawsuit to sue the city because we're outside of that 3-year period.
Okay.
So they're the only ones that get the
But you
merit.
could join like the country club one, right?
Yeah, you could join the country club one, but we think we have a good plan for it if this gets approved, because once it gets approved, I think we have less than 30 days to file a lawsuit with the city, and that is our only option. There's no appeal, there's no negotiation, it is just you have to file a lawsuit, and Hayes Barton's been going on for 2 years, 3 years right now. So anyway, that's.
Have you gotten any media coverage?
Some. I live Raleigh, we've had a couple of the TV stations reach out, but they're more interested in the Crabtree Creek side at the moment.
Okay.
Since our neighborhood is actually kind of getting hit on both sides. We have townhomes on this side, and then they're trying to build the new Crabtree Creek, the Big Branch Greenway through 9 houses backyards in our neighborhood. To a bridge that isn't built.
Right.
So if you're trying to connect, so this is I'm gonna rant for a second. So my theory is if you are trying to connect the current Greenway to North Hills and then North Hills to here, Quail Hollow, you should probably work on the North Hills to Quail Hollow until the bridge is built across 440. Because if you're gonna make a $50 million bridge across 440, right now you're gonna trample through 9 people's backyards just so you can get to nowhere.
Right.
Bridge to nowhere.
This is, in this case, it's just a path.
And while you're on that subject, as far as I know, the Greenway Committee approved going through the open property.
So the Greenway Committee recommended going through the property, and the city council gets it, I think, on the 16th of
Also
October.
has to go through the combined Greenway parks, and that's middle of October.
What's happening with the Messenger Mill, that Kane property that they're wanting?
The 30-story that they want to put where the good. I mean, I'm not an expert on that. All I know is everybody's in discussions about.
The public hearing for that is October 7th.
October 7th.
And then the plan is to put it into committee, so chances are it won't be decided until at least the end of October.
And who, I mean, I've been sending.
I don't want to take away from David's.
I've
I know
been
you-
sending also, yeah.
Yeah. So any other questions on this? Just
David,
awareness.
For your reference, just so you know that there's another community that's going through essentially the same thing, but they're a little further along. The lots have been cleared of the trees.
Oh,
Trees have been left on the lot.
oh,
They destroyed the shod that would have been protecting from Western Boulevard, and nobody seems to want to take responsibility for it.
oh.
But they did not go the legal route. They tried to just do it through public empathy. It didn't work. And then the developer actually got funding from the city through a federal grant, and there's this proceeding. So all I'm saying is, it's an overall problem for the city.
Yeah.
It's happening in a lot of different places, those with lawsuits, and those without lawsuits. But the thing that's ironic with this other one is that they are finally, I think, going to get coverage in the News and Observer if they print it.
Yeah.
For some reason, the media has been reluctant to touch these. I can guess why. There's a lot of civil suits involved, so.
And again, the interesting thing about our unique situation is this was denied twice through normal rezoning.
Yes.
And now you can find a loophole to pass it through.
Yeah, that's what makes yours
What
unique.
amazes me is that he sells them to the UAE. He builds these massive buildings and he sells them to Dubai, Abu Dhabi, UAE, the Emirates, and so they're owned by the Emirates. Our taxpayer, we have to pay for the infrastructure, we have to deal with all the mess that goes on.
Right.
And the UAE is benefiting from the ransom, whatever it is.
Right.
I mean, that should outrage people. We're being piecemeal and sold to the UAE.
Well, in our situation, it's Fisher Homes.
Yeah.
And they actually don't do anything like this anywhere else. So it's, most of their big areas are out in the Lillington area and around. So it's very interesting that this little piece is very interesting to them.
Nowhere
Yeah.
is interesting to them.
So anyway, so thank you for your time. If you have any questions, again, flyers in the back, please sign the petition. You know, if you're 156, that's great, because there's gonna be 157.
That's the one,
that
the
keep
same one
going.
that you had on the sign on.
Yes.
17.
Thank you.
David, you send me your presentation.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
That's,
Oh, build by right, by the way. All right, I've checked. I don't think either of our counselors.
I'm here.
Oh, see, good thing I checked. All right. Christina, I guess, make sure we're here, we're rolling along. David, you wanna just talk about yours? I did file your situation with the code of enforcement. You wanna talk about it just real quick?
Yeah, just a couple of things. I live on Hemingway Drive, and we have actually three houses that are somewhat problematic beyond the scope of what should be normal. One of them, unfortunately, is directly across the street from me. The neighbor happened to be a very nice guy. That was a disaster. It's piled of dirt that's been in the yard of a landscaping project since my son was in middle school. He just had his 35th birthday. The other house down the street is a car lot. It has cars in the driveway covered up, they're missing front ends, it's project cars. I don't know where all the cars are parked during the week. My guess would be for the path they're parked around the back of the house. But on any given day, there might be 3 or 4 cars parked in the yard. It's just very unseemly, it'd be the right word. It's beyond the scope of what should happen in a neighborhood that we live in. The third house down the street, it smells like dead animals outside. So, I just try to stay away from that one, for sure. Just kidding. Anyway, the issue is that the house with the cars is the one that some of you may remember 20-some years ago. There was an issue about building this huge garage in the backyard. It was a major event. It actually made the news channel. I remember Mayor Meeker actually coming out and walking down the street and shaking his head going, you never permitted this. So it's not, I hate to say it's an ongoing event. I don't have any animus toward the guy or anything like that. Excuse me, it's just something that it just doesn't fit in the neighborhood. I'm sorry, it's just wrong.
Right.
And you call it whatever you want to call it. It's unacceptable, and city needs to, zoning comes out and they look at it. Today there were no cars in the yard, everything was in the driveway.
Yeah.
But tonight when I came here, truck was in the yard.
Yeah. Yeah, there's at least, that's one of two that I know of.
Yeah, one or two, there's probably a couple more, but those are one or two.
So I did use the Ask Raleigh app. I filed it as an enforcement case, I guess, and asked the two questions of, are there rules against running a business, which I think he's doing out of his house phone?
Yeah, I don't
And the
know
other
the
is
years.
how many cars you're allowed to have a particular residence. Because that's the same issue from many years ago when the college students used to rent off of like Capitol Drive and whatnot, and they had cars all over the place. So I think the rules exist. I'm not
Well, I
sure.
think they do too, and I also believe that, again, I'm guessing here, there are several cars that you don't always see in front of the house. There's a path that goes around the back of the house. So I believe when you don't see the cars in front of the house, some of them are probably parked in the back yard behind. Like I said, that's my guess. I'm not.
Yeah, well, we'll let that
You haven't
one.
walked around.
I'm not gonna walk around.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even.
Okay.
So what was the point of this? Just,
What's
the point was.
the
just
point
to
was
let
that
everybody
there's
know.
essentially a parking lot in front of a residence across the street from where David lives. With any time, you never know, it might be 4 cars, might be half a dozen cars, plus a couple covered up on the side of the house.
But you wanted to make the point that you.
So it's
you
right
reported
now,
it.
I report it as a public nuisance. And let code enforcement follow through and see
Okay.
just what's allowable, what's not allowable.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
The October 7th, that's our deal, right here in North.
Yeah, but after Christina participates, I'll bring you all up to date on,
Yeah.
October 7th for the one downtown.
Is that, which one is,
That was for the downtown case?
that's the one on Peace Street?
Yes.
That's, okay.
All right, Christina. Let me unmute you.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me? No? Can you hear me? Okay, there we go. I'm having a little bit of trouble, but I'll start. So thank you so much for having me. I was listening to from the beginning, so I heard a lot of the things you guys talked about. The noise concerns that you're having there, it's happening all over town. And I wanted to remind you or let you guys know, tomorrow morning at 11:30 in the Safe, Vibrant, Healthy Community Committee meeting, we will be discussing. We sent it there in April, and I'll tell you my frustrations is that I don't feel like we're getting the information that we need to make decisions. And I spoke with the chair, who's Councilor Branch. And so he was working with the attorney's office before the meeting tomorrow to get a path forward to say, I know they hired somebody to do a study out of Austin. And so hopefully we'll be getting those results tomorrow. But neighbors, whether it's bowstring and having to hear the stuff there, or if it's in 5 Points, listening to the loop until 2 a.m. and the outdoor, it's mainly the outdoor amplified sound along with Glenwood South. Those are things that we're taking really seriously. And I'm a little bit frustrated at how slow things are going on gathering the information side. So please, if you're interested about that, it's not only noise ordinance, but it is noise ordinance, but we've got the amplified noise, we've got the garbage trucks. We're having a conversation about that, and I heard us mention it earlier, so tune in for that. There are some issues with the garbage truck because the landfill only accepts trash until 3 p.m. And so what we're running into as we talk and we meet with the garbage companies, an issue they're saying they're running into is to change their routes. They can't get the trash to the landfill before 3 if they change their hours of operation. So our city attorney's office is supposed to have been working with them over the past month to see what, we could push this to, so it's not, late night, overnight, just hearing bottles crash. And we're hearing those problems not only in the downtown 5 Points area, but we had someone join our meeting last time from Briar Creek who's having the same issues. And so these are things that are experiencing all over town. And so we need to have a citywide solution. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more pressure on staff to come up and give us some guidance as we move forward so we can make a decision and hopefully help with quality of life for residents around mixed use. I hope to fold all of that into our conversations as we discuss growth. You will see, please, your homework for this month is to tune in to our city council mid-year retreat. That will be next Saturday, September 27th. We'll be meeting from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can come in person. It'll be at Marsh Creek, or you can watch online. We're live streaming it, or you can watch it later after it happens on a recording. But a big part of that is going to be talking about the comp plan, talking about how we do growth. And I got to serve on the planning committee for this. And it's more, there's no third party mediator coming in because it's not necessary. I really want to talk with staff. So you'll find a lot of our staff leading the conversations. The big chunk of them are about our comp plan and how we are making sure that the community is involved in what that looks like next time as we move past 2030. So homework is to look at that and to bring any feedback. What you'll be able to see, and what I love about the mid-year retreat and the retreat in general, is this is your time to see how we're communicating as a council and how we're setting a vision that is agreed upon by everyone. And outside of these retreats, we really don't have a time where all 8 of us are together and where we talk about these things and say, okay, this is our vision. So it tends to be this, who gets the majority, who has the 5 votes, and that's not really great governance. So I'm really appreciative that the mayor has pushed for this mid-year retreat, and she's really put a lot of time and effort into planning it. So please tune in so you can hear what you're saying reflected in your counselors and what we discuss. So those are 2 meetings to pay attention to. Yes, we have Peace and West coming. I had not heard anything about it being sent to committee, so I'm hopeful that we can have deeper discussions. This is a big case. If you are unfamiliar, this is the case that last time got denied. I think the vote total was 6-2. I thought it was 5-3, and then Corey let me know, no, he voted against it as well. And so I'm really interested to see those who switch their votes and why. I will say, if you did not see the last meeting, you need to see what conditions they've added and why that could speak to some counselors. And you remember, they have a $1.2 million affordable housing fund donation. And right now, I made a point to them that we have seen no dollars and no units on the ground from any of these affordable housing conditions. So it's really hard after 6 years of putting it in and us thinking we're getting somewhere, and then to know that we haven't gotten anything from it was a big thing. So the condition that they added was that they would split it up $400,000 before the certificate of occupancy. It would be when they submit the permits for, I think, building 1 and building 2. And then the last big chunk, the $800,000, would be at the certificate of occupancy. So know that that is a big first step to us getting funding before they finish a project, which is where it sits now. And that may or may not. I'm not sure if that's going to sway people. It didn't sway me. This is still a no for me. But it is interesting that we're seeing some pull, we're seeing some movement in those conditions. So I just want you to be aware that that might be something that speaks to some counselors because we can actually get money towards our needed affordable housing. I think that's all I can think of at the moment. Unless you guys have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Do you want to update everybody on the CACs?
CACs, well, yes, we are. So actually, I met with Larry and the leadership team just a few weeks ago, and we are still deciding on what are we waiting on? We're the tiered. So we have a few, and I don't know how much you guys know about the tiered options, but we're trying to fold all of that in to our request, our final. Yes, this is where we want to go in being part of the community engagement network. So I don't know how much you've updated, Larry, or what holes you wanted me to fill in there. I will be attending the RCAC meeting on Wednesday night so that we can have a discussion about it on the RCAC level. But I think our staff and CAC leadership have done a wonderful job of coming with solutions. I mean, this solution came from the RCAC, and staff was like, oh, actually that could work. And so this is where collaboration means so much, and why it's so important for organizations and their leadership to be at the table with staff and council so that we can make sure their ideas are highlighted. But Larry, was there something specific that you wanted me to highlight from that meeting?
I just thought with you being the liaison, you would want to update everybody. I haven't really filled them in on the latest with the CAC negotiations with the city, but you did pretty well. What it amounts to is that it looks like we're going to get back most of the benefits that we had prior to 2020 that were taken away, with the condition that we have to join the community engagement group, particularly what's it called, Christina? The
Community engagement network.
The engagement network, that's it. So that's what we're working out, how to do it, and working out some of the details. I think we're pretty close. So of course I was optimistic.
We're waiting on some finalizing of the Zoom account and this has been a frustrating point for me, because when I was talking with them about it a year ago, it was a no. It was like, no, we can't do that. And so that's what I was telling, CACs. And then, just a few months ago, they were like, oh, we can figure it out. And I'm happy for that. I'm glad. I hope we can figure out how to do all that. But this is where those conversations, it sounds frustrating that, oh, well, you said no before and now you said yes. And that's a win. That's okay. I wish we had said yes a year ago, but we're here now. So I think by the next meeting, we're supposed to have that finalized, that piece. And then we can continue to move forward. This is not the end. This is not the end of the partnership by any means. So it's really gives us an opportunity to look at what we're doing and put metrics in place so that we can continue to grow the organization. CACs will be part of the Raleigh Neighborhood College and Citizens Leadership Academy, and they have some time so we can help build leadership. We can help build a pipeline of people who want to further the CAC legacy. So this is how we are working together to make sure that we have all of our foundations in place.
I got one other question for you, and you heard the missing middle discussion earlier and the one situation. At one time, there were a lot of suggested changes that would go into the text change. I think a lot of that was put on hold because of the lawsuits against the city. Do you know what the status of that might be, whether those changes are forthcoming, or whether you're still on a moratorium, basically not to talk about it, or
no, I'm not on a moratorium to not talk about it. There were two cases. One was the buffer of it went from 2 feet, and I think it's probably 5 feet now. And so now they will have to do that, but they are allowed to. This is the case on Williamson Drive in Hayes Barton. They will be allowed to. The other case is about exactly what you guys were talking about, which was how this came about. And that I have no idea. That has not gone before the judge yet. So I don't have a response on that one. But to discuss all of the changes that were mentioned or were requested, and that came from neighbors, I worked with Hayes Barton to go line by line and say, okay, what changes do you want? We voted on that about a year ago, and most of those changes did not pass. I was the only one who voted against passing it without those changes, and I made that comment in that vote. But those changes are done, and most of them were not voted through.
So there's nothing pending for changes for missing middle?
No.
David Olmer has a question.
Yeah. David, can you unmute, or I need to unmute you?
Yeah, no, I got it. You can probably hear me. First question real quick was on the CACs. Were any reforms made on the CAC side, like as far as size, number of people representing? Because as we know, some CACs are huge and people don't even know where other sections of their CACs are with regards to neighborhoods, traffic, etc. And some CACs are honestly kind of small when you look at the size of the others. Any reforms happening at all on the CAC side of this whole CAC conversation?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there are. First things first is to get back the benefits like paying for Zoom licensing, stipend perhaps on a monthly basis or an annual basis, and getting on the city website. Once we get past all that, and I expect that this year we'll get past all that, then you are absolutely correct, because some of the CAC sizes are quite large. Even our Midtown one is quite large in terms of we represent areas all the way up to Shelley Lake and as far down as Atlantic Avenue. So yes, it's something on the docket to do.
But for clarification on that, we have to start by building those who want to lead first, because I can't manage what that north and northwest have 90,000 people in it, and they don't have any, because they don't have any, north does, but northwest does not have a leader. So I can't begin to manage their size when I don't have anyone leading it at all. So that's why we're focusing right now on being in the classes, so that we can inspire some people to come on and join the CAC network, because it can't be changed fully until we have that leadership in place.
I do understand that and appreciate that. I just know that prior to ending the association with the CACs, previous city councils did try to push and to get some reforms done, and the CAC said, no, we're not going to reform, change, or fix anything about the way we do business. And hence, you got that vote that kind of basically, granted the vote and the way it was handled, maybe not well done, but, you know, it was kind of like, if we can't fix it, then we'll end it. And so I get it. I'll believe the reforms when I see it, because nothing in the CAC previous leadership indicated they were willing to change anything.
Well, I will speak from the city's behalf, and I will say that this leadership has been wonderful, and they have been open to those changes. So, like I say to everybody, even part of the CAC network, we do have to move on from 2020, and our partnership and our address to council the end of August really was the stepping stone for that, so that we can all move past the pain of 2020 and focus on solutions, which is what we did do the specifics, and we are going on there. And so metrics for CACs will be established as to what that means for us. But they are an amazing organization that we trust can build a whole entire engagement network out with our partnership. So I want to be very clear that on both sides there's pain from the past, but we are turning the page. And I promise you that the conversations I've had with our leadership committee over the last year in partnership with city staff have been wonderful. They're not always easy. We don't always have easy conversations, but that's not what this is for. It's about making sure we solve the problems of the past. And I think they're doing that.
I will color myself skeptical, but willing to be pleasantly surprised. The last thing I will say is quick announcement. I know most people don't do 2 CACs a month, but North CAC in October has Patrick Young, and he will be talking about some of the stuff he covered during the Reflecting Raleigh and stuff that was covered by Joe Minicozy, and how some cases, proper development in the right places, things like missing middle, can keep down our taxes. As we know, this council did a great job not raising our property taxes. Part of that is because all of the revenue they're generating from some of these developments. And yes, it is keeping Raleigh affordable, as in the sense that we don't see our housing and apartment rates and rent rates going up nearly as fast as they used to. And that is good for renters in the city of Raleigh. So people who keep saying it doesn't help with affordable housing, apparently don't look at Triangle Business Journal and rental rates and everything else, and continue to just spew the, hey, it does nothing for affordable housing, when it actually does quite a bit to stabilize rents here in the city of Raleigh.
Thank you, David.
Yes, David, I would like to inform you that you're sadly misinformed. In 2012, the CACs, which numbered 18 prior to that, did reorganize, and the Northeast CAC was created, the Atlantic CAC was created, the Six Forks CAC and the Falls of the New CAC joined together to create the Midtown CAC. There were neighborhoods broken off on the south side that didn't make any sense from the CACs that they had been with. And so there were fringe neighborhoods that moved from one CAC to another. There was quite a big reorganization in 2012. And the CACs led that, directed it, informed the city council of what they wanted to do, and the city council voted to accept all the recommendations. That same kind of activity could go on and needs to go on and the CACs, the people themselves, can identify what the needs are and what the solutions to the problems are. So I just thought you needed to know that.
Thank you, Patrick.
Skeptical but optimistic.
Okay, thank you all. All right, make it quick.
Hey, Christina, Chad here, just a quick question. In the 30-story development, you said there's maybe now some discussion of 1.2 million to go towards affordable housing. In comparison to how long the 30-foot story development will take place, the revenue it will generate, and how long it will last, how long or how far does $1.2 million go in the Raleigh market for affordable housing?
Not very far, not very far at all. If you think about it, right now we're subsidizing units outside of downtown at $40,000 per unit. So that equates, I think, roughly to like 30 affordable units. But if you're talking about downtown, if we wanted to do that, that we're paying a little over 100,000 per unit in gap financing for that. So you're not wrong. It's not going to solve, but no one case will solve affordability. And we have to look at the way what it is bringing. And remember that we can't legally require them to. So we are they have to volunteer it. And again, this is a condition that we have $0 for right now. And so we're trying to make it a condition that actually works, because if I continue to tell you guys, yes, this condition that they have to give the Affordable Housing Fund $3 million, you can make it $10 million. But if they have to do it at the certificate of occupancy and they never build it, then I'm never going to see it. And so that's what we're worried about right now, is that we have had nothing given to the city, and we need something that moves that timeline a little bit forward if we want to get this to be an active condition. But to your question specifically, it would probably result in about 30 to 40 units. And right now we need all we can get. So that would be that would be some counselors' arguments as to why they would vote for that.
I guess the question is, how long will the 1.2 million fund those 30 to 40 units?
I mean, I have I can't answer that because that's future talks. I mean, you've got costs driving up, whether that's inflation, and I can't tell the future. So I'm not going to say very long. I don't know the actual timeline though as to how long, because we have to see what the market looks like year to year. What I have asked for is better metric marking and making sure that we are touching base more frequently, because right now it doesn't feel like we ever talk about the units that have been created due to this, this condition, and how much money, exactly the questions you're asking. How much does this cost, or how much are we actually creating from this fund? So I don't have those answers, but I am hoping that as we build this out, we do more metric taking.
And they said I had to be very fast, so I'll be even faster with this question. With the leadership academies, am I understanding correctly that you are wanting people to go through those academies before they can participate in CAC leadership?
No.
Oh, no. If you want to be a leader, go for it. Like, we only have those classes twice a year, in the fall and the spring. And I think you can take it even if you already are a chair. So, but that's something that the CACs are going to have to decide. That's nothing that is ever going to be mandated by council. We're never going to say you need to have this, and a requirement to be a chair. That's completely up to CACs. But we want to be able to provide some assistance in making sure that people who do decide to take that on are trained and understand what leadership looks like to the group.
Awesome, thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, Christina.
Uh-huh.
Anything else for Christina from the audience? Okay, we're running a little tight on time. Let me just update you on a few things real quickly. Our October meeting is going to be with the Kane folk. They will be here in October 27th meeting, I think it is. We will probably have a meeting somewhere else prior to that. At the present time, the review of the application for the rezoning of North Hills is still in process. It's late. And Christina, for your benefit, used to be when the reviews were complete, they were posted online. There is a new practice apparently where when the review is complete, it gets held and is not publicly available until the agenda is published for the Planning Commission. Is that correct?
that is how I've known it to be. So if it's been different, then help me understand when it was, and we can ask when that rule was changed. But I don't remember it being a rule that it was released before, because planning commission needs to see it. So it gets released with the planning commission's agenda review.
It was available before, prior to that. When it was completed, it was published out on the city website.
So if you can help me find that information, then I can ask when that changed and why. But to my knowledge, since I've been doing this, it's always been with planning commission. So I don't have that same recollection that you do.
We'll do what we did before, and let's go to the lawyers involved.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, I mentioned before about the Greenway real quickly. It's gone through the Greenway Committee to use the stream side option, which essentially was mentioned by David, does flood. And when it floods very efficiently, very quickly, and rises very quickly, and then flushes right down across underneath Six Forks. So it's not a safe condition, but apparently that's the way they're going right now. It'll be reviewed again when the joint Greenway Parks Recreation Bicycle Committee meets, I guess it is. And that's middle of October. Let's see if there's anything else I have to tell you. What's that?
Mona has her hand raised.
Oh, okay.
Mona Singh, she's the one that's running.
Oh, okay. Mona?
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to say hi to everyone. This is my first time coming to a CAC meeting. I'll probably show up in person next time. A little bit sick today. We just wanted to say hi and that I'm running for one of the 2 at-large seats for County Commission. The primary will be in March 3rd, 2026. So just wanted to pop in for a minute and say hi.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, hi.
You're welcome anytime. Yes,
Yeah,
Patrick?
The November and December meeting dates, do you know what they are?
I've scheduled them out. The November one. With Thanksgiving, I don't think we have a conflict with Thanksgiving. I have to double check that. Actually made a mistake on tonight's meeting already. Tonight's the first night of Rosh Hashanah. Some people were not here. I'm here.
November 24th,
Is that when our meeting?
Monday, the 24th.
the fourth Monday is the 24th.
Yeah, so it's before Thanksgiving. We should be okay. December one, we'll do the social. And we'll do that. I think it's a week
22nd.
earlier. I think it's probably the third week of the month.
15th.
Yeah, I think it'll be the 15th. I've got them laid out somewhere.
So the October 27th meeting, that's here with us with a cane person. That's not the neighborhood joke that we had before.
It's not the same as what they call the first neighborhood meeting when it was a very one-sided meeting.
Yeah, it wasn't a meeting, it was a show. Yeah.
That's exactly right. I'm hoping they provide all the input that was provided at that meeting. I'm hoping they bring that with them and summarize that input.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just a reminder that Councilman Silver from District A is having his meeting. It's right now set for October 29th.
Right.
To be determined on the place.
Right.
He did have one, I don't know how many of you guys came, that was very interesting, a month or so ago.
Yeah, I actually recorded it and found out real quickly that the transcription doesn't exactly come out the way you hear it. I'm still working on that.
Interesting, yeah. But that was interesting. So it's an hour from 6 to 7 and.
Yeah, as soon as he announces,
Starts and finishes.
as soon as he announces where it's gonna be, I'll get that out to everybody.
Just kind of pencil it on your calendars.
Yeah, appreciate
Because I
that,
think
Nancy.
we all need to show up for those.
Yes.
Everybody that can show up.
And he talks quickly, you have to pay attention when he's.
Yes, he does, and it's interesting, it's interesting.
Okay, I'll get everything you saw tonight, I'll get back out to you with contacts and so on for a follow-up. So, anything else?
I don't know if this question is relevant or not, but I feel like a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, there was some discussion at the end of Quail Hollow here where it intersects with Hardymont.
Yes.
Where it's turned into the yield thing as opposed to the stop sign.
Hardymont and Quail Hollow?
Yeah.
Which
Now it's like a little circle. Right, is that Hardymont by nothing?
Yeah.
Circle.
Hardymont, yeah, so now a circle thing where you gotta yield and drive around it or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
So I
You know,
thought there was some discussion maybe about like traffic and the stop sign.
well, if the greenway comes through there, the traffic circle and the greenway pathway are not compatible. So there will have to be a change. I think that's what you're referring to.
Maybe, well, then more specifically about the stop sign, because like my kid and I, we were just walking to the park today, and the people coming down Quail Hollow now.
Oh, and cars come down that
They're
hill.
only looking left.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Like, they're only looking left.
Right.
So you have to know as a pedestrian
Right.
that you are invisible.
Right.
And so after that car starts to.
When those cars are coming down the hill, they do
And
not.
I was thinking about something the other, because I was giggling, because we have the traffic people here about the no turn on red. And yet we have a yielding right turn in a residential area in commute to the park where you would be bringing the children.
Right.
I had a moment of clarity coming around the corner there.
All I can tell you is that some of us have written many, many, many emails to the traffic people.
There's not even crosswalks.
Right.
There's no crosswalk.
But there will be.
And it's got a little warning that says, hey, it's a circle, but I've now lived it where you have to, as a pedestrian, be very defensive because they've now created a flow-in.
Yes.
From a cut-through street and a cut-through street.
Correct.
And they're going to, eventually someone is gonna get hit there, and then the Department of Traffic people will probably not be able to do the math on it, because I just don't understand.
Yeah, we should have raised that when the police officer was here.
I missed it, I couldn't hear.
No, we'll get them next time.
Yeah, come on.
All right, folks. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, stranger. How you doing?